Kim Green, former INDYCAR team owner, your former boss, and Kevin Savary, the fourth event that they promote. They do St. Petersburg, Mid-Ohio, Toronto, and this. And Kim said, I'm not joking, Diff, we could have sold out the motorhome lot 2 or 3 times over. The pre-ticket sales were great. The walk-up, we're told, is going to be good. Hey, why not let's make this a Labor Day special? Put it on the calendar every year.
Wouldn't get any complaints from me. I like the time zone. As we see Takuma Sato, that lead to Ryan Hunter-Reay is shrinking down to 1.1 seconds. And most importantly, if they're able to turn Hunter-Reay loose on fuel, he has 40, almost 50 more seconds than Takuma Sato on push-to-pass left.
Hunter-Reay's last lap was a 59.6 to a 59.8, so he's bringing it back in, trying to close that gap. The closer you are to the back of Sato, the more fuel you'll save. You're in the slipstream.
Just keep back to the program we were doing so we can go get him.
Okay,
maybe going a little too hard, a little too early, a little too hard. He's got to still save.
That was the question I was going to have for Jan, is how much longer does Hunter-Reay have to save before they can turn him loose, Jan? What's all the chatter been like? We just heard Ray Gosselin.
Yes, when you hear Ray say we got to stick with the program, remember, making up 4 laps of fuel is a lot. So they need to hold him back until the last moment to be able to get him. You don't want to give him, let's say, just a little bit more fuel. That's not going to help you. You need to save fuel to the very end to where you can go full gas and then make an attempt to pass. Because as you know,
wheel 5, keep doing what you're doing. Go to wheel 5, keep doing what you're doing.
Now, wheel 5, that is a fuel setting. Wheel 5 is what you make the changes, and they're watching. And again, what they want to do is they tell him, watch out for your push to pass. You can see that Hunter-Reay has 108 versus 65, but at the moment, push to pass burns fuel.
That's right.
They want to save it and go for a run at the end.
And that is a miserable situation. With 6 laps to go in 108 seconds, you could burn, 15 seconds a lap, and Hunter-Reay's not doing that right now. So the question is, can he or will he be able to use any of the push to pass, or does he just need to hit a number to get to the finish? Always, that's really tough as a driver, Paul, as you know, knowing you could go faster, but you can't.
Yeah, especially when you're in a situation like Hunter-Reay where he was leading, got the lead away from his teammate, was comfortably out front, and then on a strategy deal, Sato jumps in front of you and has the right amount of fuel to get to the end. That's frustrating, but he's just got to sit there and play the game, hopefully draw close enough, but Sato's still got plenty of push to pass himself with 5 laps to go, as you're coming to.
Last race at St. Louis, Sato went off strategy earlier and was sitting in a really good spot and was hurt by the yellow. And this weekend, it's flip-flopped perfectly. Sato exactly where he wants to be. 5 laps to go.
4 to go. 4
now
to go.
4.
Stay on the program.
Here comes Ryan. Here comes Hunter-Reay. I think he's probably the closest that he has been. Sato, Hunter-Reay, Bourdais provisionally on the podium. Then Spencer Piggott with an outstanding permanent road course drive today. Scott Dixon, boy, the damage control, the luck, the misfortune, then the turn of events. An incredible storybook day for this man here, Scott Dixon. Recently turned 38 and one of the most successful INDYCAR drivers in the history of the sport. There is a 5th championship awaiting him in 2 weeks' time. If he can nurse this result home, he'll head to California with a 29-point championship lead. How about Will Power, the pole man who blitzed his way to the Verizon P1 award yesterday, got off to a great start, and then once everything was cleaned up from that opening lap crash, he got going again, got to turn 7, and just nothing happened in front of Alexander Rossi. Gearbox issues, then he had a crash, went back to the pits, got it all going again, but Will Power finds himself way down the order, some 7 laps down in 21st position.
RHR, we're hearing on the radio, has been given the green light to go and chase down Sato. Sato leading the race for Bobby Rahal's team. Bobby Rahal calls the shots on the pit stand there. Been a long time since Bobby's had a win.
Now RHR, 3 laps to go. It'll be 2 laps at the line. RHR has 101 seconds of push to pass. Now he's on the button. So RHR can use the button for like 90% of the rest of this race. He's going to have a shot, I think, guys.
For those of you turning on, expecting to see NASCAR at Darlington and the Southern 500, we'll get you there as soon as this race is finished. But how is it going to finish?
It's right there now, so 2 laps to go coming to the line.
Full overtake, last 2 laps.
Full overtake the last 2 laps. Let's do it. 2 to go, less than 4 miles. Is it going to be Takuma Sato or Ryan Hunter-Reay? He's right there.
No attack, no chance. Sato is gunning for a win. It's been a long time since he's been in the winner's circle on a road course, and he will not give up easily.
Ryan can stay on the button almost always. Only when he's off throttle, coasting into a corner, will he come off it. He needs to get Sato to burn everything he has. It's going to be hard for Hunter-Reay to get close through these quick corners.
Sato's good in the infield. He pulls a little bit out on the infield, but Hunter-Reay comes back on the straightaways. Hunter-Reay's really good down here in the chicane in the last corner, but Sato's better in the infield.
Can Hunter-Reay be close enough, PT, on that front straight, heading down to the festival curves on the final lap?
Sato not using push to pass, still has 45 seconds. Here they go. It's going to go green light right here.
Flag, last lap, overtake all the way.
Last lap coming up, less than 2 miles. Has Hunter-Reay got something here for Sato? He's not close enough.
Really only has one more chance, Paul, which will be on the back straightaway.
Or into the tight hairpin if he can get close in the infield. 3 more corners from here, but Sato's car is on rails through this triple right.
Well, the other issue is these corners are fast enough to where the turbulent air is just too much for Hunter-Reay to get close.
You've got to remember earlier this weekend it was not a positive start for either Rahal Letterman Lanigan driver, Graham Rahal or Takuma Sato. The team felt like they were a little bit one step behind, but Sato said, we had a great weekend at Road America. If we can work it out, we can have a great weekend here as well. And he's just a few more corners away from victory, which would be his first permanent road course victory. An incredible result. He's made up 19 positions from his start. He's an Indy 500 winner. He's now a Portland winner. Takuma Sato wins on INDYCAR's return to the Northwest. How about that? Phenomenal effort from the Japanese driver. Takuma Sato can add Portland to Long Beach and the Brickyard as his INDYCAR race victories. Ryan Hunter-Reay for second and Sebastian Bourdais, an amazing podium, but perhaps shadowing everything is Scott Dixon in 5th and will leave with the championship lead. There is Dixon, involved in the lap 1 crash and comes away with a top 5 as he congratulates Sato.
Well, everybody in this field respects, admires Sato for his persistence, his hard work, his discipline, and his speed.
My head is still spinning from what went on today. This was the most wild topsy-turvy race that I think I've ever seen.
It had everything. It had everything. And Takuma Sato delivers. Rahal Letterman Lanigan.
Can't imagine what Alexander Rossi is going to be thinking after this race. All season he's been saying, Dixon, he never has a bad day. And once again, Rossi is just going to be just puzzled and frustrated. And Rossi did nothing wrong. He was so fast.
First win for Rahal Letterman Lanigan since Texas 2016. And Sato's first victory since he won at the Brickyard at the Indianapolis 500 last year. That's fantastic. 8th different winner on the season. Really good win. Top 3, all Hondas, by the way.
Last win was Brazil for Foyt on a road course, street course. It's been a long time since he's had a win on a
well, it's Rahal.
The Rahal.
No, I mean for Sato.
For Sato, yes. So it's his first win since the Indianapolis 500. It's his first win on a permanent road course.
Since he drove for Foyt.
Since he drove.
Well, ever.
No, first win on a road course ever.
Long Beach.
Because Long Beach street course. Yeah.
Good run.
Oh, amazing. What a day. Hey, good for you. Saw Pagenaud in the background there. Boy, they'll be breathing a sigh of relief because the weekend did not start very well. And he actually started this race on the 11th row. There's a lot of people who'll be taking a lot away from this day. And let's not forget, there's the green car, Spencer Pigot, the young American who finishes in the top 4 just off the podium. Awesome performance.
There he rolls. This is new now. They're going to direct Takuma Sato into the paddock where all of the fans are. And there's Scott Dixon, Paul. Wife Emma ducks in and says, can you believe it? Look at the damage. So minimal compared to what everybody else suffered. Many drivers retired from the race. Looks like that's all he had.
Looks like the front of one of my cars from back in the day, but this guy is just a warrior. He never gives up. You could never count him out, and that right there is a championship-winning drive.
There's Bobby Rahal. Bobby's experienced victory here at Portland. Bobby won in 1987, and now one of his drivers has. There's Steve Fusick, the manager of Takuma Sato.
Graham Rahal ducks in there.
Taku is one of those drivers, and you pointed to it, Townsend, that everybody gets energized when you're around Takuma Sato. He's a 41-year-old, 19-year-old. He's baby-faced. He's got so much energy, such a positive spirit.
So many sponsors from Japan. Honda's been his longtime sponsor, and all this does is solidify him for a program for next year.
Let's hear from Takuma Sato.
And he scores just the 3rd win of his career. Big hugs from all of the 30 crew. It's his first win since Indianapolis of 2017, and it came with Takuma calling his very own strategy. Takuma, that was a bold call just after Fuel Strategy had burned you just last week.
It was actually. We had a difficult weekend on the last couple of weeks, but this weekend it's really paid off, and we carefully calculated. Of course, everyone does it, but I think the strategy worked really extremely well. Obviously, the car worked well. Pit stop was fantastic. Look at these guys again. Beautiful, beautiful.
Ryan Hunter-Reay was closing in on you those last few laps. Were you looking at him in your mirrors?
Yeah, I was, of course, and I knew he had over 100 times of the push-to-pass, so at 60 or 50 counting down, and I knew he's coming, but you know, I was kept on the really cool, and Ryan really raced fair, you know, pit in and out. We raced in time race together, but brilliant.
Kevin, an impressive day for the 30 team from 20th to 1st.
Takuma Sato might have won the race today, but Scott Dixon might have recovered to win a championship. We'll find out in 2 weeks. At the beginning of this race, when you're caught up in this melee, we're going to let you watch for the first time. What are you thinking your chances for any kind of success is today?
Well, I thought it was pretty bad. I couldn't see anything. Once I got off in the dirt, it was just, you know, dust everywhere. And then I kept getting hit, and I'm like, oh God, this is not going to be good. You know, surely the car's going to be in a bit of trouble. But kind of the dust cleared, you know, sort of car was still running, selective reverse, had enough room to back out, and then once the truck moved, I was able to pull away. I think the suspension was a bit bent. The car didn't drive like it, you know, it felt like it should. But huge day for the team. You know, this feels like a win for us in these circumstances. Lucky to keep the car going. Then we had a drive-through penalty with speeding on pit lane, which it must have been a technical glitch because I definitely turned it off after. It was nothing that I did. So we'll have to look into that for sure. But man, crazy.
And at one point, it's points as they run. When Rossi was leading and you were 20th or 21st, you were about 40 back. You actually gained points from 26 to 29 up. Is this your year?
I don't know. You know, well, obviously, you know, going into Sonoma, you know, 30 points or 29 or whatever it is not a huge amount. You know, we'll have to see how it affected the 12 car as well. But just, you know, really happy for the team. You know, that these guys and girls have worked so hard. Just stoked for them. Super happy for Sato. It's good to see him get a lucky break there. He did a hell of a job on fuel mileage, so congrats to him.
One more to go to try for championship number 5.
One more to go. What an incredible day. We show you the points. Paul Tracy, what are your thoughts? An extraordinary day.
This is why you got to watch IndyCar. You never know what's going to happen. It's up and down all over the place, and this championship now goes down to the wire.
Townsend?
If I'm Scott Dixon, I'm telling him right now, take your beautiful wife Emma to Vegas right now. This has been the miracle on dirt for sure.